Hey everybody, I'm Madalyn Sklar, the host of the incredibly awesome Social ROI chat. It just ended. It was amazing. It was incredible. And I'm here with our guest, the incredibly awesome Cami Huyse. Did I say it right? Did I get your last name right?
Good job.
I'm getting better and better at it. So welcome to the after chat. Just a really brief, live stream where we just kind of go beyond the Twitter chat. What did you think of the chat today? I know you've come on. You've kind of been a regular lately.
I've
I've
been
noticed.
driving by here and there when I can. It's kind of the end of my day, so it's good.
Yeah. Yeah. You were a great guest today because branding's your thing. And I love getting everybody's perspective on branding is one of my favorite topics. And it was a very lively discussion on that. What does branding mean to you? Like, if somebody came to you and said, "Okay, help me with branding. What do I do?" Like, how do you get started with that? What is it like? Let's kind of back up. What does it mean to you? How do you get started with somebody? Kind of give us a little bit of a process.
Sure. So I do this all the time with clients. They'll come and say, we want to make sure we have our brand together. The first thing I say is, not let's go get a logo, not let's go get a website. But the first thing I say is, who are you trying to reach and what do you want them to do? And on the other side of that, what do they want from you? What do you have that's unique in the marketplace that people will want or need from you? And so starting from that, you can come all the way back to your design, what things look like. So yeah, I really do feel like that's the first step, is really understanding your audience and your customer, the people that you want to sell this to. So if you want to sell your services, your products, yourself, what you have to
Right.
offer, you need to know what people actually want from you to
Do
start.
you think brands are doing that well enough? It seems like that's missing a lot, you know?
Yeah, I think that does miss a lot. Really, what ends up happening is a lot of people sit around and discuss what they think that we want.
Right.
I've actually
Yeah.
been at those discussions, so I kind of know that that's what happens. So, you'll be sitting around a big table and everybody will say, well, what do you think that people really want and need from us? And also a lot of times, by the time you get to the branding team has not been an integral part of the product team, or the team that was putting together the ideas. So in that front, I think we are having a disconnect between the creative side of the house and the sort of the building side of the house, the product side of the house. Even if it's just one person like you or me, we also need to think about, what is it about me that people really want to hear, even coming on this chat, I'm like, what do you want to know? What do you want to know from me? What do you think? So yeah, that's right, Jim. Designing without knowing
Yeah.
your audience is a hollow brand. Yeah,
Isn't that great?
totally. Mm-hmm.
And we appreciate
Yeah.
everybody that's here live with us. If you have any questions, any comments, feel free to post them.
Put them in.
We're paying attention. So, hey, Jim, hey to Ashi, appreciate you guys being here with us. So now you run an agency.
Mm-hmm.
And so, you're doing this on a grand scale, working with a lot of different brands. And I imagine you do all sizes, right? Or are you niched down with what you're doing?
Well, I mean, it's kind of interesting because mostly I've worked with larger brands, either mid-sized to large brands over the years. But right now I'm kind of been branching out to do more online training and that kind of thing. So I'm talking to a lot of small businesses on that side. So I've seen it all the way from like the startups to like the solopreneurs, all the way up to like some of the biggest brands that you would recognize their names. So
Household brands.
yeah, household names. We've done a lot of work for those types as well. So really, that's been interesting too, because you can kind of go backwards and say, how have I built my brand to be that? That kind of
Right.
runs that
Yeah.
whole gambit for as a company. And for me, it's always been about reputation. It's always been about word of mouth. I never have trouble finding clients. They come to me usually, through a word of mouth recommendation from someone else. So for me, it's all about that. It's about those personal connections that we can put together and really kind of, find exactly what my clients need. And from my perspective, what I've found is they're busy public relations and marketing executives that are looking for extensions of their team. That's usually who hires.
Right.
And, that's taken some time to figure all that out. But, looking at them and saying what they really need is it's not that they can't do it or don't know it, but they need me to come in and help them take it off their plate. And they need me to keep up with everything so they can send me an email and say, hey, have you heard about the new updates in Sprout? Can you tell me what's going on with that? Or how about the new, what's going on with Instagram? We don't see anything the way it's supposed to be anymore. What's up with that algorithm thing? What's going on? What do we need to do? So they need me to know instantly what to do.
Right. Really like guiding and supporting.
Yeah. And so, that's just my clients, but what do your clients need and want, and your customers?
Right.
So.
Exactly. Now, one of the tweets I posted, we were talking about, using social media for building your brand. And I feel like social media is such a great place to really put out there that, building community, but also to get people to know, like, and trust you, which we know is so important. Like, to have a business means you're selling something, right? And so know, like, and trust is, to me, that's the hallmark of building a good brand. So what's your take on that?
I think that building a good brand is certainly know, like, and trust are important. If they don't know you, they don't even know you exist, and they don't know that they have a need for your product, then they can't like you. And then, of course, you have to get to the trust point. Of course, if you're like a stick of gum or something, you have a whole different life cycle there. So it just depends on what it is that you do. But what I do know is that you have to have everything consistent. So the voice of your brand has to be consistent with the values, has to be consistent with all of those pieces have to come together, and there has to be consistency across the board. So one of the things that we kind of rode all over, and I don't want to drag them through the mud too much, but Kentucky Fried Chicken, for example, they really wanted to support breast cancer, and so they were selling big buckets of greasy chicken, which was great, except for that's some of what causes breast cancer. So,
right.
As lovely as it was for them to donate buckets of love back to breast cancer, it may not have been consistent with their brand. So those are the kinds of things you want to look for. What is it that your brand stands for? And if you're out in the marketplace being cute, does that really fit your brand? For Skittles, that may work, But
and it's working for Wendy's. Wendy's is, I don't know. I don't know if everybody likes it. And sometimes I'll look at those tweets. I'm like, is that really in line with who they are and what they represent? What do you
think? They're kind of
about
moving away from that family brand that they have been. I don't know. So yeah, I do feel like you really have to look at, if you're going to move your brand or change your brand, what does that mean for the future? Are you doing something for short-term gain that will make you lose a bigger battle? Or, is it something that you do need to shift on? I think about Miley Cyrus, when she tried to shift away from Disney brand,
right,
to twerking brand. I don't know, and now she's kind of coming back around because she's got a child. And so she's like, well, maybe I don't want to be twerking on national television if I'm having children.
Yeah. And, rebranding, which we also, touched on during the chat. And yeah, you could sit here and reinvent yourself using social media.
Yeah. And I agree with, I think you say her name, Ashi, anyway, that people are looking for that shock value. They're looking to surprise people. And, that's awesome, but surprise only gets you so far. So you definitely need to look at that. So.
Yeah. And so that's what Ashi's saying. I think that too many companies are focusing on the surprise value rather than being consistent with their brand and core values.
Yeah. I'm boring that way. I really like those core value things. That's kind of important to me.
and then Jim says, Jim, yeah, right. Jim says, so part of branding is being the person to ask, is this a good idea before others ask that? Oh, that's brilliant.
Oh, no, it's not only brilliant, it's so true, Jim, because that's exactly
Yeah.
it. I don't know. Sometimes you think you see something and you say to yourself, what were they thinking? Right.
Right.
And there's this thing that happens. Actually, it's so funny because I've just been doing a lot of work around like,
Your mic is, just FYI, when you're moving your mic, it's been kind of like, it's been making some noise.
And I gotta stop moving. Stop moving. I'm so squiggly in my chair.
You're like me, like animated, but see, I got the Bluetooth headphones, so I don't have to worry about anything moving around. I'm hip like that.
I'm gonna have to like get hipper somehow. That's a branding problem I'm having. as Madalyn's all branded there with her Twitter Smarter. Anyway, so
got that behind me.
Let me go back to what Jim was saying because that is so important, and I'm so glad that you said that. So one of the funny things that it turns out is that brainstorming is actually not all it's cut out to be. When you get together and everybody brainstorms, there's this thing that happens sometimes called groupthink that happens in like these creative think tanks when you're having them. And you really do have to poke holes in all of the ideas. And it's so much better, like the product that comes out, and it's been proven in all kinds of studies that the product that comes out of a brainstorm that has people allowed to make, critical comments. Because, the whole thing with brainstorming is don't criticize any of the ideas until they're all out. Apparently, it's much better to actually go through and criticize the ideas as you go, and you come out with a much better product. So yes, somebody needs to be sitting at the table that A, has a spine, and that B, is willing to ask the hard questions as you go along. And so creativity is awesome, but we also have to think about how it aligns in the end with what we're trying to do over the long term for the brand. Because you can ruin a brand in one campaign. One.
Right.
So
yeah, and we've seen that many times. Shout out, we've also got Kevin Garber here, CEO of ManageFlitter. So hello to Kevin. And he made a great point here. Never forget the basics. He's a fan of the basics. I am too. Yeah. Big fan of that. And hello to Madalyn. And it's so weird saying, like, there's so few Madalyns in the world. So for me to actually say it out loud and I'm talking about somebody else is weird. Little FYI. And Ashi says, we also have to be careful of bias. We tend to expect more common sense versus walking things through from the perspective of our clients. Really great.
And we get in that real feeling like that we know what's best for them, and we have this gut feeling and all of that, and we forget to ask them. I mean, have little groups, pull them together. I mean, that's what's great about social media. You can pull a little group together and do a quick read about things pretty quickly. I mean, you can start to say, hey, can we do this? And if you have a great email list, which I know that Madalyn does, you can send out and ask people, what is it that you are concerned about the brand, or what do you like about it, or what are we doing right, or what are we doing wrong? I think that that's something that people forget. It's just we can talk to each other. It's just so funny. We get in these silos that social media is this silo, and then we can talk to our customers when they walk in the door. It's all one thing. They're all the same thing.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And we keep this brief chat. One last thing to talk about as we wrap up. I love to talk about tools. And I love when the last question is tools and we get to just finish the chat on that note. Now, so when it comes to tools to build your brand, I know you were talking about Canva. Huge fan of Canva. So tell everybody, why is Canva your favorite, and what do you do with it?
I do like Canva because it's been able to make me. I mean, we were talking about visuals, so now we're talking about the more nitty gritty, right? Like, how do you build all these little visuals? How do you do all this? And I've been able to run an entire program without being a graphic designer with Canva. I have been able to outsource some of my stuff like that to my assistant to help me with these things. I mean, I have these templates in there that I can just pull up time and time again. It just saves me hours of time. So as far as a hack, it's awesome. So it might be good to get somebody to help you that really knows what they're doing, put it together. Like, so you can, if you're not really good at spatial and all of those things, and then, hey, you can change the dates and the times and the photo as long as you have like an actual template there, right? So I do love Canva for that. But it's not, I mean, there's a lot more to branding than Canva.
Yeah, right. I've been using Adobe Spark also, and I've really, really gotten to like that a lot. I got to meet them at Adobe Summit a few months back, and that is a really great tool too. So I've been using that almost as much as Canva, and I'm a big fan of
Cool.
Canva.
You'll have to like talk to me about that offline
I'll have
sometime.
to I'll give you a little lesson on that.
Oh.
What other tools do you find helpful?
Yeah, Kevin, outsourcing. I love it.
That is so true. That's always good.
I actually do a lot of, I'm starting to do a lot of video. So I had this, I bought that videos tool and I actually kind of like it. It's VIDDYOZE. And I've been kind of putting together little animated videos and stuff like that for inside of some of my groups. And it's kind of fun. You can put your logo on it and it's got all these little animations and those have been fun. I like that. And then there was another, and I should have written this down, but a couple of days ago, there's another tool and I'll put it in the link here, but there's some new video tools where you can just really quickly like take this whole chat, for example, and turn it into a video real fast. So
Cool.
I will get that for you guys because I'm pretty sure
I
you'd be
would
interested.
love that.
I literally just signed up for it like yesterday. So.
When you get that link, just post it in the comments for this so we can get that. And Ashi asked, what is the best thing about Adobe Spark? And I like it because like Canva, you can do it on your browser, on a computer, but you also can do it on your phone. What's interesting, and I would, for people that use Canva here on the chat with us, and for you, Cami, when I use Canva, I strictly do desktop. I don't use the mobile app at all because I don't know. It's kind of hard to build things and images and stuff when you're just on your little phone. And I have the iPhone Plus, so I have a big phone. But Adobe Spark, I strictly do on mobile, even though there is a desktop version. And I like it because they have some really good templates, really simple to use. And what I'll do is I'll put a photo up of me, and I can just easily swap out the text and the style and stuff so that maybe one day I played around with it. It will be like and I'll do like the little heart icon, or I heart podcast, or I heart Twitter chats. And it's just so simple and easy to take a photo, like a selfie of you, and whatever that text is, you can easily change the layout, the colors, the style in 2 seconds. And so now I have like a whole bunch. I've used different selfies. And so I felt like I built up a library of cute little images to shoot, which, is a great way to, like, when you're on, say, on the Twitter chat and like, you start talking about, how much everybody loves Twitter chat. So I could pop up that image that I created and even just do it on the fly, just have it pull it up from Adobe Spark. I just suggest playing with it, try it out. So Adobe, I think it's just adobespark.com. So highly recommend it.
That sounds really interesting.
Yeah, and I do want to say, and I'm not being paid to say this, but I love ManageFlitter. It's a great tool, and I like using that when it comes to building your brand. It helps me tremendously. Just a great tool. So if people here, if you have not checked it out, highly recommend ManageFlitter.com. You'll be so happy you did. And Madalyn, oh, so weird saying that. Madalyn asks, is Adobe Spark free? Yes. That's another great thing. I love how Canva's free and Adobe Spark's free. I love free tools. So there you have it. Cami, I really appreciate you taking the time to jump on here for our little after chat. I think one of the best things about doing this is so everybody can like see us. Like, we're all on Twitter and we're all doing our thing. We don't know what anybody looks like. You know nothing, right? You just see their little profile picture, but you don't see them in action. So it's nice to come on here and get to see the personality of the people on the chat, which is super cool. So really appreciate you taking the time. Any final thoughts? I'm going to post your Twitter on here.
That'd be great.
For people to check out.
No, I mean, while you're doing that, I'll just say that, the most important thing is your reputation, guys. And so like, if you're putting a brand together, remember that, all of those things, all of those, great graphics and stuff mean nothing if they don't have personality behind them. So that's why I also love doing these kinds of chats too, because I feel like that personality is really important. That's why I actually added all those GIFs and stuff to my answers today, because I really feel like, it's good to show your personality whenever you can and in whatever way you can on social media, because it's really the only place that you can do that for your brand. So that's it.
Absolutely agree. Absolutely great. Thank you so much, Cami. This has been so great. Appreciate everybody that was here live with us. And for those of you watching the replay, thank you very much. There'll be a recap of this on the ManageFlitter website in the next day or two. You can just go over to ManageFlitter.com, and we'll see you back next week for another incredibly awesome chat. Take care, guys. See you soon.
Bye, guys.